February the 9th, 2023. As you're looking at the USGS map, and it just updated an earthquake here, we're looking at the Middle East. Of course, we're focused on Turkey and Syria. Right now, the last report I got a few minutes ago, 17,000 dead, 67,000 wounded, and it looks like from the videos, guys, they're barely scraping the surface. This could be catastrophic. I'll show you a video of a drone coverage of just one area. Now, what I'm noticing here, this is 7 days of quakes. If you remember, and I'll put a map up here in the top right, and you can see that. But you've got the fault zone that goes down through Israel and up through Syria. And this map is not showing, it's showing U.S. faults. But in the European faults, if you remember, there was a fault that runs all the way across Turkey. There's actually 3 lines that come across like this, all the way down to this, and all the way, as a matter of fact, to the city in Revelation chapter 1, where Christ said he knew the seat of Satan was. And I'll pull this up. That's going to be in the video coming up. I hope I can get it up today, guys. It's called Bergama right here. It's called Pergamus. This is where they they martyred one of the saints, and they boiled him in a copper pot for preaching the word of God. And as in Revelation chapter 1, Christ is addressing the 7 churches, and he points out that Pergamus was the seat of Satan. And there's old artifacts there. There's old ruins there. It kind of looks like Roman amphitheaters and stuff like that. It's a city there. It's a modern city. Old buildings, new high-rises, new hotels, everything like that. And I'll put some of that in the video. But the ancient amphitheaters and all really remind me of Rome. And there's actual models of how the city looked at that time. But Bergama, which was Pergamus, is what Christ called the seat of Satan. Now, again, that video, I'll try to get it up today. I'm going to try to go through the first couple of chapters of Revelation. I know I'll have time to get through chapter 1 because there's a lot that ties into that. It's not just reading that chapter, but by pointing out some of the historical parts of Revelation 1, it brings it more to life. It makes it clearer to me when I understand what we're talking about. But this, what I'm noticing here, if you notice, it's kind of formed a T. It was just coming up this valley, up into this area. But now we're starting to see it move along this fault line. It's not showing here, but there's one that runs along these mountains. And another earthquake just updated, and it's moving south. As a matter of fact, 2 more biblical places. Tel Aviv is here. This red line right there is the fault that I think Christ was talking about when it splits, when he sets his feet down on the Mount of Olives. Another video that I did 7, 8, 9 years ago was about Baalbek, and this one hit right there. It was the landing zone of the fallen angels. When they took wives, the human wives, to be their wives, they took them, 200. There's a video that's in the Sumerian information, some of their texts, very interesting. But Baalbek's been hit. These are just 4s. This is a 4.2, and notice that Baalbek, that's the landing zone, and here, just outside of Tel Aviv, 4.1. And so what we're seeing is pressure on this fault line. That is the biblical fault line. But up here, it's devastating, guys. I'll show you a couple of drone images. But right now, 17,000 dead, 67,000 wounded. But, guys, the buildings are so collapsed for block after block after block. 100,000 people in there trying to rescue. Now, Syria is in major trouble. And it's because the Biden administration will not lift the sanctions. They can't. The people in Syria, now this has been going on now almost a week, and they haven't got food or water. You can't make it like that. You're talking about to these people, they are living through the end days, through the tribulation. The families are gone. Everything they had is gone. They're in the streets. But one thing that I keep hearing is many of them, when this happened, turned to God and prayed. He got their attention. A lot of people have left their physical body because of this, but we're starting to see, again, movement in this direction towards the west and down to the south. It says tens of thousands of rescuers are pulling survivors out of the rubble of collapsed building structures. But more than 72 hours after the powerful 7.8 magnitude earthquake rocked southeastern Turkey and northwestern Syria, hope is quickly fading that more people will be found alive. The latest death toll figures in the region top 17,000. That's today. Turkish President Erdogan said 14,014 people were killed and more than 67,000 injured. That's in Turkey. In Syria, 3,577 died and more than 6,300 were injured. Again, they are just now getting equipment to some of the locations to lift some of these pancake flattened 10-story like almost like apartment complexes. It says for 100,000 plus rescue personnel, the task is monumental, as there are thousands of collapsed buildings to search. Thousands of collapsed buildings. Blocked roads and other logistical challenges have made it challenging for first responders. They're also racing against time as a person's survival probability drops due to lack of food and water. Biden still will not lift the sanctions on Syria. Russia, by the way, was the first one on the scene bringing in aid. And yesterday, President Erdogan of Turkey declared a 3-month emergency for 10 of Turkey's 81 provinces. He said the measure is because of the widespread destruction in cities, some of which have an equivalent population to the size of small U.S. cities. Again, the drone images they show a catastrophe. The earth was shaking there, and it shook hard, and God got their attention. I think that's going to be a major deal going forward because we're starting to see the spread of that fault zone, and we're seeing the wars and rumors of wars. And that is escalating very quickly. We've got different nations now promising jets and fighter planes and bombers and tanks and everything coming in the next 2 or 3 months. I think what Russia's doing is they're going to take it out before then. Now, what will that do? That'll push the boundaries of the conflict closer to the Polish border in the beginning. And I think that Russia is on their way they're going to take out Kiev. They're going to make sure they have Odessa back, that port. They're going to secure everything surrounding Crimea. You're looking at the new Russia. But the West, the demons in the West, the ones that will not release the sanctions over Syria to let aid in there. People are hungry. They are dying of thirst. They have no shelter. Snow. Remember the video? And the West still will not lift those sanctions. That's evil. That's as evil as you can get. And they're talking about all the billions that's going to Zelensky when it should be going there. But that's the way Satan works, guys. And let's take a look at this drone video. Building after building after building. Many of these are 10 stories, like living apartments or condos or whatever. That's where people live, and it's block after block. And look at how long it would take just to go through one of those big complexes. Some of them are flatted like pancakes, and you've got multiple cities in 2 different nations that look like this. Life will never be the same there, and I don't think it's going to be the same anywhere on the planet coming very quickly. But guys, if you would like me to do a video on chapter 1 of Revelation, that beginning, we'll go from there. Let me know in the comments, and I'll try to get that up today. I think it's very interesting because we're talking about this part of the world. But again, look at those buildings. Devastating. It says Hante and Taka. I think that may be the person with the drone. at that. Just row after row, city after city. A lot of people got woken right there. But guys, we're watching it again. I'm going to try to get time and work on that other video. Let me know if you're interested in the comments about actually starting in Revelation chapter 1 and moving forward. I hope I can get to chapter 20 before everything hits the fan, because 20 is talking about that. And I almost did a video on chapter 20 yesterday, but I thought about it and thought maybe we should go back to chapter 1 just to kind of get into the entire prefix leading up to chapter 20, because we're talking about the first and second death. And if you don't realize what those are, you're missing out on very important information in the book of Revelation. We'll get there, guys. Let me know if you're interested. And it's a heads up. Be safe. Also, pray for these people. Take time right now, pray for these people, because they have nothing to do with their corrupt governments that are battling. And we've got evil demons right now. Literally, evil demons running these nations. That's how it was set up, and now we're in that time. And it had a lot to do with the 7 letters in the first book of Revelation, going out to these different churches that have now spread across the planet. Very interesting about the angels of the churches, and how Christ said he would take that candle from those churches if they didn't straighten up. In Revelation 1, those candles are the angel of the 7 churches of Asia. But guys, we're watching it. You watch it. It's a heads up. Be safe.